Frankly, this might be one of the pettiest videos I've ever made and ever will make. It might be one of the pettiest things I've ever done in my life, but stick with me here because there's a point. This is a comment that I left on a video about psychedelic drugs as a response to a comment about bad trips. Here is the parent comment. The names have all been censored for the sake of privacy. The point of my reaction, if I could distill the nuance of the issue of psychedelic drugs into a nice 10-second argument here, is all the people claiming to have ego death, disassociation, depersonalization as a good thing are kind of messing with forces that none of us really understand. You know, the metaphysics of the universe, the mind, the body, the hypothetical soul, which may or may not exist. And far be it from me to disagree with Joe Rogan, we're messing with forces we don't understand. But that's not really why I'm making this video. This comment could have been about anything, and as a matter of fact, it has been about anything, because what I'm about to show you has happened to me before. Any of us who use YouTube, even semi-regularly, are aware of the fact that YouTube will auto-mod certain comments, even entire videos based on the transcription if certain words or topics are detected, at least if they're monetized, right? I don't think that's news to anybody. That's been the case for a few years now. However, what I have noticed recently is YouTube, and I can only assume other websites either are already doing this or will do it soon, are rolling out something far more malicious. And that is, they'll show you your comment as though it's posted. You'll move on with your day and you won't think a thing about it. So you'll think your comment's there. You will ease some of the internal pressure of feeling as though you haven't got a voice or haven't got a say or whatever, right? If you're just the right amount of paranoid, and it is a very thin line, and you go back on an alt account, a throwaway account or something, what you'll notice is your comment's no longer there. Not that it was deleted for your eyes. If you log back into your original account, it's still sitting there like it always was. And what this essentially means is this is what was always called Shadowban, right? It's this disgusting manipulative technique that makes you think you've said something. Not that a comment on the internet is enough when it comes to the important stuff, but at least you said something. At least you did something. The idea behind this, and I'm being perhaps a little dramatic, but I emphasize a little because it's not far from the truth if it's far at all. What they want is they want the so-called crazies, which, by the way, occasionally may include actual crazies. I mean, you know, just go look at any religious video on YouTube and check the comments. You're bound to find a litany of schizo babble. And that doesn't mean that they're not allowed to input, you know? That doesn't mean that they're not, just because they might even legitimately be kind of unhinged, that they're not allowed to talk to us. You know, it's when they start stabbing us that's the problem. But I digress. They want otherwise reasonable people to scream into the void. Well, maybe not scream, you know, you're typing a comment, but you know what I mean. You're screaming into the void, thinking you're being heard, when really, you may as well not be talking at all, right? You may as well have said nothing. It's this, like, matrix of the mind. I've specifically seen a tweet. It was deleted. I have a screenshot of it. It's on my old phone. I've been moving around a lot of files, setting up a lot of things. You may or may not have noticed the microphone quality is not great right now. I'm in between microphones. But I do have a screenshot of a former Twitter employee, I believe, mentioning that they would like to implement systems like this on Twitter so that people can tweet to essentially approved bots so that they think they're getting engagement and they stay in this isolated bubble of the mind, this simulation of participation. And the more you think about this, the more disturbing it becomes. Now that I've spouted sufficient fear porn for you, or whatever you want to call it, I will concede that eventually I was able to change the wording of my comment and get it up. You'll note here that I called the guy a tool. This was after 4 or 5 attempts of trying to make this comment. The initial comment was, "No, you disingenuous fuck. I know what the definition of unrealistic is. You need to explain yourself," or something like that. I called him a fuck. I've been able to leave comments with fuck or fucking in it before, so I guess YouTube's censor bots are context sensitive or something. And I'm not saying every bit of disagreement needs to go right from like 0 to 60 or 0 to 100 of hostility, okay? But note, look at my comment, look at his. He escalated the tone first to something disrespectful. This isn't Reddit. I'm not responding to disrespect with a smiley face going, oh, well, allow me to explain for you. No. That's not how this works, buddy. And it's not to say that I'm, like, on the lookout for being disrespected or something. You know, like, I grew up on, like, 4chan and just the old school internet. You know, I've been called far worse over far less. It's just the notion of not being able to match the energy of people who do want to escalate. It's like going into a boxing match with your hands tied behind your back, and the referee, who in this case would be YouTube, Facebook, whatever mainstream platform, looking at you and going, good luck out there. Again, I need to clarify that I don't think we need to go out of our way to be too crass or rude or whatever you want to call it on the internet or anywhere when interacting with anyone. But there's another side to that, and that's this forced toxic positivity that the internet and really capitalism and consumer culture at large seems to love deferring to, right? You know, you gotta feel good. You can't get too panicked, too angry, too curious, too excited. You know, just the right amount of excited for the next product you're consuming, but not so much that you start challenging people or let alone authorities or experts or whatever the hell we're calling them that week. I could probably find a few screenshots of be nice policies that pop up on various different websites. And if I did, you're seeing them right now in this quick little video. So at the end of the day, I was able to change my comment. And here it is, as I left it, as I was able to see it both on my account and our throwaway account here. So it's up, it's there. But the takeaway from this is that I had to change the wording. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Dusk, come on, how dramatic can you be? You didn't get to call him a fuck, or a tool, or a jerk, or whatever. But it's more than just being censored out of my choice of words. It's the tone. It's a slippery slope. Yeah, I know you fucking postmodernists love dismissing the idea of a slippery slope, but it's true. It's real in most cases. I've seen bad arguments for things that could be slippery slopes, but slippery slope, it doesn't even need to be named slippery slope. We don't even need a cute little name for it. It's just, hey, setting precedent. And that's what we're doing, because it starts with the censorship of individual words. But this is like one notch further. It's still arguably not a huge deal, and I wouldn't hate you for making the argument that this isn't a big deal, but you have to understand where this leads, okay? I could make like an hour-long video talking about this, but I'm gonna keep this one short. And I will talk about this in the future, but this is all just part of the little ways they're changing our behavior, trying to force us into a neat little box, you know? Like they're trying to mold us into a square peg to fit a square hole with no exceptions at all. Again, being friendly isn't a bad thing. Being mean too much of the time or where it's unwarranted is just as cringe as being a Redditor with your big smiley face and your over-eager niceness. So it's not even about the topic. It's about the topic being argued. It's about the fact that they're controlling how it's discussed. And it's disgusting.